welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to film a cozy, bookish weekend vlog. I'm gonna do some reading this weekend. I'm gonna do some painting and crafting related things. I'm very excited. It has been a wonderfully productive week. If you watched my last vlog, you would have seen me talking about some of like the health stuff I'm going through at the moment, the iron problems I've had. I am now 1 week post iron infusion and I have had the most high energy, productive week in a really long time, and because of it I am in a fabulous mood. I started reading the very first bit of Orbital, which is the Booker Prize winner. Lots of people are talking about it at the moment. It is about astronauts in space and it's very atmospheric, it's very high imagery, and I started reading this book, like I was listening to it, like the audiobook version of it, and I just had to stop myself because it was so painfully beautiful. Like the imagery was gorgeous. There were a few moments where I didn't quite tear up, but I just felt really lucky to be a person living on Earth. There's just this imagery describing the planet Earth and I loved that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna return the audiobook and I'm gonna go and buy a physical copy, and then also my little sister-in-law, Mia, Tyler's little sister, I love her, light of my life, she has messaged me, and so we're gonna go on a walk to Dimmicks. Maybe we'll go to a cafe, I'll do some reading. Goodness knows we'll probably spend the entire time chatting, but I'll try to do some reading. And yeah, if not, it should be a lovely weekend. It's Friday afternoon, the workday's basically done. I just uploaded a like 40-minute vlog to Patreon. Let's go do some oh, I'm also listening to, sorry, as I said, I'm very high energy at the moment, so I'm going 1,000 miles an hour. I'm also currently listening to Our Wives Under the Sea, which is this beautiful story about this couple, and it's told from the two perspectives of the people in the couple, and deep sea horror, submarine, maybe not quite horror, maybe like horror leaning. It's a bit eldritch and a bit creepy, but maybe not like full out horror, at least not yet. And it's so gorgeous. I'm really enjoying this book. So I'm glad that I'm listening to that. Let's go for a walk with Mia. Let's go to the bookshop. I need to grab my stuff and we can get going. Oh, also I'm wearing my space themed earrings because I'm going to be reading Orbital today. So that's my little space theming going on. Hello, we're all home. I had to test how far to jump to do that because turns out this is actually a very wide angle, and it's been a very long time since I have done long jump. Maybe this is an unpopular opinion, it's certainly a segue. I've never understood triple jump. Why is it so complex? I am all home now. I ended up getting a different book from Dimmicks. I wanted to get Orbital and I had considered that maybe it would be sold out, but I did check a couple of days ago and it wasn't sold out a couple of days ago, but that's okay. I ended up picking up Our Wives Under the Sea by Julie Armfield. I'm actually this far of the way through the book already. It is a joy. It's very cleverly written. It's very beautiful. I thought it would be in the horror section, but it was actually just in like the regular fiction section. It's beautifully a little bit eldritch and it's split between these two perspectives of this couple in a relationship. Leah is a person who, for her work, she's a submariner, so she goes into submarines and she goes deep under the ocean, and so her perspective kind of explores the day that the submarine went down underneath the ocean. Miri's perspective explores what happened after. It's a split timeline, but we go between these two perspectives, and you know, as the story goes along, we learn more about their relationship, and it's so like it's beautifully told. I really love the dialogue. I think there's some really clever and witty prose here. But my plan for the rest of the day is actually to do some painting, and I'm hoping to finish reading Our Wives Under the Sea maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. I can't wait to tell you guys what I think of that book. But yeah, let's go do some painting actually. Let's go to my desk. I've been having a really fun time in the sort of back half of this year being really creative in ways that I haven't been creative in a long time. I went to a life drawing class not that long ago. A couple weeks ago, some friends and I did some like polymer clay stuff, and I made a Scotch finger biscuit coaster because I was inspired by a TikTok I saw. There's this person who's making biscuit themed coasters, and I was like, that is such a good idea. I picked back up knitting, which you would have seen if you watched one of my last vlogs. I've just been having a really fun time coming back to a lot of the creative stuff that I used to do without even thinking about it, because I am creative for my job. You know, I'm a video producer, I'm a writer, I illustrated a book, I do so many things. I spend all day being creative, and I get to the end of the day and I feel so spent. Like I just want to read a book, play a video game, just like not really produce anything. But especially since I finished Project Teacup and I've just needed this time to really refill the creative well, I've been having a lot of fun picking up on art stuff again, doing the knitting, doing all this stuff. And today I am going to be doing some gouache painting. I am literally just going to do a little color study of a screenshot from a Studio Ghibli painting. So I've got my sketchbook, I've got my paints all set out, and that brings me to the sponsor of this video, which is Skillshare. I love Skillshare. I was so excited when they reached back out to me. I think they're an amazing platform for learning. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, graphic design, illustration, freelancing, productivity, and more. Skillshare can help you take your career, skills, hobbies, and passions to the next level. As I've mentioned, I've been getting back into illustration and painting a lot recently, and I really wanted to do a deep dive on color specifically. So because of that, I've been doing Sian Dunthy's class, Palette Hunting, Finding and Crafting Impactful Color Palettes. You might also know her as Fairy Little Peach. I've loved her illustrations for such a long time. I think she has an amazing use of color in her work, and I've been really enjoying her class. I adore Skillshare. I love the learning paths, I love that it's affordable, and I love that it has such a massive collection of really high quality classes from loads of amazing creative people, where you can learn anything from filmmaking to marketing to organization to even creative writing. I also think that as we wind down on 2024, learning new skills can help us to reflect, explore, take stock, and experiment with what new things we want to learn and discover in the new year. Please feel free to check out Skillshare by clicking on the link in the description down below. The first 500 people to use my link will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. I am now all ready to get started on painting. My entire plan for the rest of the day is to read and paint and have dinner at some point with Tyler. It's gonna be really lovely. I'm in my happy place. It's like 5:30 right now, but because we're in daylight savings, it looks a lot brighter than it really should. But yeah, let's get to painting. As I'm painting this picture of Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service, I just wanted to pop in here and let you guys know what books I'm really excited to read by the end of 2024. Now I feel like many of us, I always have way too ambitious of a TBR, but there is a few books that I have that I'm really excited to get to. The first one being 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. I read the first book, but I really want to get through the second and third book before the end of the year. It's kind of an intimidating one for me. I also have Days at the Murasaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa on my list. This book was sent to me by the publisher, so I can't wait to read that one as well. It's set in Jinbocho, which, if you guys are familiar with my channel, one of my first ever pieces of writing that I did was a neighborhood guide on Jinbocho, so it's very close to my heart and I'm really excited to read that one. Possibly the one I'm I'm most excited for is called Junie. It's by Erin Crosby Eckstein and it's due to be published on the 4th of February 2025. Erin was very, very kind to send me a physical copy of her book and I cannot wait to read it. Erin originally described the book to me as being a speculative, historic, gothic novel set in antebellum Alabama. I'm really, really excited to read it, so that's also very high on my list before the end of 2024. For now, as I'm painting, I'm just listening to Orbital. It's so pretty. It is the perfect book to listen to as you're doing something creative like painting or even like walking in nature. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this painting of Kiki. It's very imperfect and the colors aren't coming out quite the way I want them to, but it's been a long time since I've done anything with gouache and I'm kind of stuck between using watercolor techniques and using acrylic techniques. Like gouache is somewhere in the middle. God, I just love painting. I love these kinds of tactile, creative things. They just bring me so much joy. But yeah, here's my painting, and that was also my list of books I most want to read before the end of 2024. Everyone, good morning, happy Saturday. I am actually just coming home because I actually had brunch with a friend this morning. I went and saw my beautiful friend Pippa. It's been a little while since I've seen her. She recently went on a trip to Europe, so we talked all about her trip. She got me a little gift. Like I put the wafers away, but she got me this little, where is it? This little adorable Miffy because Pippa went to Miffy's hometown. This is so cute. I love this. This is so lovely. Anyway, my entire plan today is to keep reading Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. It's been such an interesting experience reading this and Orbital at the same time because there are a number of images that are similar between the two books, because one of the characters in Our Wives Under the Sea is a submariner, and so it talks about the submarine and space, and then Orbital is set in space, and so it talks about diving and being under the water. I have very, very little left of this book. I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of like questions I have about what's going on. I love these two characters so much. Like my heart just aches for them. Like they're so in love. I love them, and how that kind of interplays with the kind of tragedy of what's going on, because we know that the character who is a submariner, whose name is Leah, we know that she ends up going deep beneath the sea and something bad happens to her, and so we find that right at the beginning of the story. That's not a spoiler. And so I feel so much for them. I have so many questions about the mystery here. I'm really, 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 really enjoying this book. So it's very cool, very creepy. Orbital is beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. I'm loving it so much. I'm a little bit worried that the lack of plot is at some point going to start to disengage me a little bit, but for the most part I'm really enjoying it. There's some beautiful little passages about human experience and vulnerability, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. And I'm probably gonna go read this book. Tyler and I are probably gonna play Pokemon later. We've got some other plans. I don't know what we're doing today, but my plan is to do some reading.
Going Kuro.
I like the character from anime. Haikyuu.
Oh my goodness, it's so soft.
Oh my gosh, you're soft.
He just likes people, I think.
He's a very people, like he's like
Book cat.
Yes.
Yes. Shut up.
a little bit forward.
Oh my god. What was that? Oh my god, he's so cute.
Oh my god, the
What's his
purring is so
story?
nice.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's just happy.
He loves people.
He loves people. Oh no! Oh.
That's the careful consideration.
She's watching. Hello, Tama. I actually ran out of time to talk to you all about Our Wives Under the Sea, which I finished reading today. Oh my god, that ending. Oh, it was so good. The book was so incredibly good. I don't tend to read a lot of horror, and in truth, I wouldn't even really personally categorize this as horror, even though it's one of like the main things it's kind of tagged as when you look at this book. It's just this beautiful kind of literary speculative novel that's creepy, and it's about the deep sea, and it's dual perspective, and it goes back and forth, and it examines their relationship. It is a character story, but it's also got some really creepy elements there of like things going bump in the night and this like mystery at the center of the novel. And it didn't feel like it was super duper going into the speculative elements. It was more focusing on the character elements, in that it never really went in depth on what caused the speculative elements. It was more focused on the character journeys, the backstories, the pure emotion here. But I love this story. I thought it was so good. It's such a beautiful, brilliant read. The reason why I picked this book up is because someone from my Patreon recommended it. I can't remember now if it was in a comment like on like one of the posts for the book club, or if it was on Discord. We have a book channel over there on Discord, but someone recommended it. This was on the poll for the month of December, but ultimately didn't get picked. The books that we're reading for the month of December are Orbital and The Wood at Midwinter, because The Wood at Midwinter won the book poll, but it's actually really quite short. I ended up putting just a bonus book on the list of books for the book club for the month of December. This one I think came third, but I decided to read it anyway. We're getting to the end of the year, so now I'm starting to think of what books are going to end up being on like my favorite books of 2024 list. But yeah, it was a bit of a very like last minute plans changing kind of day to day. So Tyler's brother and Tyler's brother's partner, they got a new cat, and so we wanted to go like drive over to them and see the cat, and then we took Tyler's little sister with us, and so it ended up being like a family night, which was lovely. We got to meet the new cat, whose name is Kuro. If I were to pronounce his name the proper way, because it is a Japanese word, it's a Japanese word for black, I would say Kuro, but it just feels weird when it's in the middle of an otherwise entirely English sentence. Kuro is his name. Kuro. Sorry, I'm really tired. It's really quite late now, but I've had an amazing day for reading. 2/3 of the way through Orbital. It's been a lovely weekend so far. Oh, also, I feel like I forgot to mention this. Like, as I said, Tyler and I were hanging out, and we sort of finally found time to go buy a car. So the context here is that Tyler and I have been driving the same car that Tyler bought basically straight out of high school. The car that we have together, we only have one car. Tyler and I have been together for a really, really long time, and I used to have a car of my own. That car was much, much older. That car was like 5 or 6 years older than I was, and it had like 350,000 kilometers on the speedometer, and I was in uni and the head gasket went, and that kind of wrote off the car, and so I had no money to replace that car. It's just old beast. It was a 6-cylinder. And so during university, I couldn't afford a new car. So I just kind of borrowed Tyler's car when I could. It's only one set of keys for that car. When he bought it, obviously secondhand, like they only ever gave him one set of keys. So the keys always belonged to Tyler. So even though it's been kind of equally my car, it's never really felt like mine. Like, it's literally just because the keys like exist on Tyler's keys, because there's only one set of keys. The car that we've had that you guys have seen in videos, you know, the radio is kind of funny because it's like the radio from the car that Tyler had beforehand, and we've been needing to get a new car for years. Like, the car is getting very, very old. It's had all of these problems, and we've been kind of just like holding on for a really long time with this car because we love travel and we never know where we're going to be, so we didn't really want to commit. Many years have gone past. I've loved this car and I've been so grateful to this car, but it is ancient, like to the point where like whenever people ask like, oh, what car do you drive, they react, which is not fair. I'm not a car person. I really don't care what car people drive, how old their car is, it doesn't matter. We've been researching for years what car to get, and we've looked at all this stuff, and we ended up just like going to a few places this afternoon. Yeah, we saw a car. It was a really, really good price. It's secondhand, but it's still pretty new. It's got, oh my god, it's got Bluetooth. I'm gonna be able to play music from my phone without having to plug in an aux cord into like USB-C into my phone. So silly, but I've never ever driven a car with a reverse camera before. We were talking to the guy who's selling this, and I was like, oh, it does have a reverse camera, doesn't it? And he was like, yeah, all cars have reverse cameras now. And I was like, all of this like new technology I'm not used to. And so I turned on the car to test drive it today and I was like, why is it so quiet? Why is it so smooth? Felt so safe. Like, it was honestly just amazing. I didn't vlog it because that felt kind of weird because we're in a cost of living crisis, and so extravagant things like that just feel really, really weird to show other people. But yeah, we've been planning for this for many, many years. We saved up, we did a lot of research, we've got this thing. I feel really dissonant about it because I don't know, like financial trauma, scarcity, all that kind of thing feels weird. It kind of feels like finally saying goodbye to that time of my life where I was like in university. I went through some really tough things when I first started driving that car. This feels very emotional and very cathartic, and this story is kind of weirdly shoehorned into this video, but I just kind of wanted to mention it because it's a really big life change for me. We've been saving for a long time. We didn't have to get a loan or anything, which is really nice, even though the person at the place really tried to push for us to get a loan. And I was like, if we don't need one, why would we want one? But loans and things like that tend to, like, I don't even have a credit card because the idea of a credit card makes me so anxious. Like my student loans are enough debt for me. I don't want to touch anything else. We're not tempting fate. It's been a really weird, amazing day today. We saw a bunch of people that we love. I did some reading. We committed to buying a car. That was my Saturday. I'm going to bed. I will come back to you tomorrow with some more reading.
craters in the desert in Arizona. The sea levels off the island's coast have already risen with the expansion of the warmer water. And now, where the winds push the sea toward the westward edges of its basin, the sea rises more, and a 5-meter storm surge engulfs the islands of Tinian and Saipan. Roman, Nell, and Sean arrived here 3 months ago, a trio of astronauts folded into a module the size of a 2-man tent. They docked to the station and the capsule's probe penetrated neatly the spacecraft's drogue. Soft capture, a bee entering a flower. The spacecraft's 8 mechanical hooks locked the module in. Hard capture, confirm. Hard capture, complete. A stilling inside the module and a moment's pause.
Finished with reading Orbital. I can absolutely see why this book won the Booker Prize. There was a moment today where I was listening to Orbital and I got to this part of the story where the narration was talking about the time the Earth has been around as relative to the calendar year. And I've heard of this concept before where, you know, if the Big Bang happened on the equivalent of January 1st, like we wouldn't be around as modern humans until essentially the last few days of December. Like that's how small of a time we've been here in comparison to how long the Earth has been around. And I love this analogy because I think it does a really, really good job of illustrating the sheer amount of time that the Earth has been around. And as a person just generally who's always spent a lot of time not dwelling, I suppose, but I've always been really interested in this concept of like, why are we here at all? Like the most comforting thing in the world to me is going outside and staring up at the stars and being like, oh my god, we're tiny blobs, it doesn't, none of this means anything. Like how lucky is it that we get to be here at all? And I think because I this is something that I think about a lot, I think that's part of the reason why this book really, really spoke to me. And I was talking about all of the things that have happened in the last few days of December, like the pyramids and religion and all of these these famous people and the Mona Lisa and all of this stuff that just kind of means a lot to humans, and it actually teared up. I had a tear fall down my face, like just this author was just reading this list of all of this stuff about humanity, and it just made me feel, I don't know, like really moved, like really, really grateful to be here. I think maybe this book just got me in a really good introspective, mildly emotional headspace where I was like, but yeah, thank you guys so incredibly much for spending this bookish weekend with me. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you've read either of these books, please do let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. And also, just before I go, I wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone over on Patreon for supporting my videos. I wouldn't be able to make these videos without the beautiful people over on Patreon supporting my work. Over there, we have a whole bunch of bonus content, bonus videos, our book club, our Discord server. It's actually Orbital is one of our book club books for the month of December, so I'm going to be doing a full deep dive and review on Orbital, so if you want to see that, please feel free to hop over to Patreon. There is a link in the description down below. Take care everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.